So it was 1 year ago that I first pitched the idea of using a 3D printer in the woodshop to make practical things. Since then, we have used that 3D printer to make a whole host of things, including a lot of very impractical things. Today, Bamboo Lab has reached out to us and asked us to review the brand new P2S here in the shop, and we're going to try to make 5 mostly practical workshop prints. Here are the pieces right off the printer. Looks like a really good print. Get rid of these handful of supports. If you noticed, I printed it by object instead of by layer, and don't know that there's any reason to do that for this print, but I just wanted to try it. So let's assemble this. It does make a cool fidget. It's got a very satisfying sound to it. A little scary to put your finger in there, if I'm honest. I actually printed a couple, but what is it actually for? Let me show you. And I should just be able to pop. Anybody see where that went? Let's find that for later. It opens, and you can do it all with one hand. I printed out a little one. The model actually comes with 3 different sizes, so I picked the smaller one. This is so cool. That was just wasted space. Now it's great broom storage. All right, print number 1 is done. What do you guys think of this one? I love this print, and I'm already fired off 3 more for my back shed. I'm also curious to see how this does with shovels and rakes in my outside storage. So let's move on to print number 2. Alright, so what have we got here? Little handles, you probably guessed they're handles at this point. They have labels on the bottom, starting at 1.5 and going through 6. What exactly are we looking at? Now, if you're anything like me, this is how you store your Allen wrenches. And when you need one, you pull one of these numbers, right? And you got this super tiny little edge right here. And if the bolt is stuck even the slightest bit, you're going to turn your freaking thumb to hamburger trying to get some torque out of it. So here we go. That seems to fit in there really nicely. Now the fun part about this is that we should be able to, and now this part freely moves. See how that part sort of sits inside? So this can't come out. It's printed inside of the other one, and that little twist there gives it the freedom it needs to move. And then you twist this to lock it in place, and now we've got torque. That is super satisfying. I feel like some sort of crazy chiropractor. Does that feel better? Sir, just relax. All right, relax. Oh. Do I have any left that I haven't released yet? Ooh, that was a good one. Did you hear that? I don't know if I like this one more because of how useful it's going to be, or how much fun it was to separate the collar from the handle. This can be printed all with a single color. I only printed it with 2 colors for aesthetics, and it makes the numbers easier to see. But you don't need the numbers. You can tell which one's the smallest and which one's the largest. The next thing I need to go find is an Allen key holder, which I'm sure is available on MakerWorld. That's 2 prints done. Let's move on to print number 3, which is going to teeter on the slightly less practical edge. Now see how the whole thing kind of shakes every once in a while? You'll notice there's a gap all the way around, and that's because it sits on feet, and it allows this whole thing to shift. It absorbs any of the shock from the printing. First time I saw it happen on the H2D, I thought something was wrong. And then I got a flawless print out of it, and realized it must be a feature. Definitely excited to see that feature here. It seems like it allows it to print a little faster, and you get a really nice print out of it. Here it is, fresh off the printer. What exactly are we looking at? This one is going to require a little bit of prep, so let's get to it. So this print slides right in here. The blade that's in here is a little on the small side. I can get 2 holes through it and it'd probably be fine. I think I'd rather just sacrifice a larger blade. Oh, we just lost power. That's too bad. And that was a very, very short power outage. Hello everybody, welcome back. Sorry for your little brief outage. Check your vitals, make sure everything's okay. That looks like a good spot for it. So I'll go ahead and mark this end. My holes. This is a metal cutting chop saw. How will it do with the hardened steel Sawzall blade? I'm always impressed by this saw. That is a really clean cut. It's kind of interesting to see how the 3D printers and the machines all sort of work together. I've got my bandsaw right behind me, drill press here, 2 3D printers. They're usually covered in sawdust, but it doesn't affect the work. You know, I was worried they were going to have trouble functioning out here with all of the dust and everything in the shop. So they've been doing great. Been working out here with them for almost a year and a half. They're really good for a workshop. Awesome. Would have guessed that a new 3D print would require us to do some actual metal fabrication in the shop. There we go. Here's the part I'm a little nervous about. So this, yeah, you look a little nervous too. Don't worry, buddy. This slot is supposed to go all the way through. What's the likelihood? Oh, look at that. All right, nothing to worry about. That was easy. It's amazing. I mean, that's amazing. Can you imagine a print like that even 5 years ago being successful? Seems pretty impressive to me. All right, so there we go. There's our assembled gadget. Have you guessed what it is yet? Anybody guessed what it is yet? It is a spray paint shaker for your Sawzall. Let's give it a shot. Got a can of spray paint here. What in the world am I doing? Just in case. That is so fantastic. Yes. Slightly working itself up the clamp there. It seems like it's getting a good shake out of it. We've got ourselves a amazing spray paint shaker. This is going to be a tough one to top. Are we ready for print number 4? If I didn't know any better, I would think this was an upgrade for the X1C, not the P1S. This machine feels like the H2D and the X1 Carbon got together and had an offspring. It comes with the AMS2. Honestly, just such a nice upgrade for the AMS system. Filament drying, what they call a filament odometer. Guess the amount of filament you have left. And at some point you're going to get a clog in these. Getting a clog out of the AMS means you have to take the whole thing apart. They solved a lot of those problems with the AMS2. And then just little things like the fact that the light on this is so much brighter. On the bottom of the X1C, when filament and other bits fall down to the bottom, you have to kind of scoop them out because there's a lip there. And on this one, they've actually got it made so you can just sweep it out. The P2S also has a quick swap nozzle feature, which means you can replace the nozzle in mere seconds. And this, coupled with features like the higher quality lighting, a 1080p camera, it is amazing to me that this is still more affordable than the X1C. With Black Friday coming up, there's going to be a number of deals on their website if you're looking for a brand new P2S or any other Bambu Lab machines. I'll put a link down in the description. I want to once again thank Bambu for sponsoring this video. Print number 4 might be a bit more practical than the last one. If you've been following along, you know that I've gotten into this whole Gridfinity organization and I love it. I've gone ahead and done all of my pigments and dyes. And so this is where those all used to sit. And now they're all organized on these really cool pullouts. And each one of them has a bin depending on what type or brand. So all of my dyes and pigments fit on those two pullouts. But I made a third pullout. So what I found was this print. It's a super simple little print. Fits in a single Gridfinity square. It's got a hole and a spot for a label. So here's my router bits. You can see I'm in the middle of this. I've got quite a few of them done, but I've honestly got quite a few left. And if I'm honest, this is my router bit storage. This is what my router bit storage has been like for decades. It's bad. So a couple months ago, I printed out a Gridfinity for router bits, and I put a whole bunch in there. And it's fine, it keeps them in a better place than this, for sure. The edges aren't knocking against each other. But the problem is the same, which is I don't know which is which just by looking at it. I don't know what the degree is on that chamfer. I don't know what the size is on that straight bit. And so actually going through, not only measuring the ones I don't know, or it's got a manufacturer and a number and I can look that up on the internet and figure out what it is. And so I get to a point where I've got, you know, this, which says rabbiting 3/8. And I know exactly what that is. I'll do all of my roundovers, so I don't have to change the label, I just have to change the different sizes. And then I'll do like all of the straight bits, all of the rabbiting bits, so on and so forth. I don't think I'm gonna sit here for the next 3 hours and finish. This doesn't feel as daunting. It definitely feels like something I can sit down, do for a little while. There we go, so those are all the ones that have labels. And then these can go into the I'm bored pile. Let's add some labels on those in the future, Peter. That would be grand. Here's a little Gridfinity bin with bearings and an Allen key. I know just what to do with you, Allen key. My fence for my trim router, my wrenches and crank for my router in the table. That's nice. Other bins for other things that I might need down the future. There's something about organization that makes using tools in the shop so much better. And I don't know if that's just me, but I feel like every time I organize something, I enjoy using that tool more. So I'm excited about the router bit storage and getting the rest of those labeled so that it's all done. But let's move on to print number 5. Print number 5 in magenta. Yeah. Does this look familiar? If you've spent much time in a wood shop, this is probably looking familiar to you. There is a little bit of assembly required, which led me to a couple more prints. This is a clever little print. It allows you to easily couple dust collection tubes without the need for a mechanical fastener. I believe this print is designed for 10mm magnets. I ordered some on Amazon, but they've been delayed for a couple days, so I had to go down to the store and pick up these. We can just apply these, or we can use this as an opportunity to get another cool print out of it. This goes in here, and then this slides over the top, goes over the end. Oh my gosh, you can just slide these off one at a time. And then when they're not in use, you can just pull the whole thing back, and you can also easily see how many magnets you've got left. I'm going to put on gloves just so that we get this whole medical feel. Got our applicator here. Oh, this totally feels medical. Spray a little accelerator on there. Right. Then I should just be able to spray this side with accelerator, right? And hopefully not glue everybody together. All right. Mostly successful. Which way? Leave it that direction. We need one more part, which is this O-ring here. I can order that on Amazon, or I can just print it. So this next print is actually going to be with TPU. Due to the softness of the material, it doesn't play nice in your AMS, so you need to hook it up to the external spool. And if we look here at what was just extruded out of the machine, you can see that we just went ahead and changed colors from the magenta to this new TPU material. Bamboo Handy app. I'll go to me, my collections, and I'm going to go ahead and prepare to print that. We have the P2S selected. And it wants to know which filament we're going to use. The external TPU. Told it to fit 2 of them on there. And see what it's going to do. Says it's downloading. That's all there is to it. That's exactly what it's supposed to look like. 2 TPU gaskets. And it's telling me it's going to take 33 minutes. So rather than a trip to the hardware store or waiting for a delivery from Amazon, I can go do other things while it prints out my parts. Right, the O-ring only goes on one side. So I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I printed out 2. You can print out 2 in 33 minutes. Which means you could probably print out 1 in half that amount of time. It just twists right in. Are you seeing this? You have no need for a clamp. It just twists right in. That, in and of itself, that's amazing. Seems to work pretty well, actually. I mean, you can put a clamp on there if you want to, but I don't see the need for it. And a nice, strong, yeah, solid connection. For a shop like mine where I only have one hose that I move around from different places, this would be great to attach to the end of tools. You could either couple it to the floor sweep when you needed that, or couple it to a tool. With all of these practical prints I've been making, I wanted to get an impractical one. So this is a 2-foot long articulated dragon that I printed out in carbon fiber. Is it amusing that I used basic PLA for a bunch of shop tools and then decided to make a toy out of PLA CF? Yeah, it's kind of amusing. An absolutely beautiful print. Out of our, 8 or so, do you have a favorite print? I think I'd be lying if I didn't say the Sawzall spray can shaker. I don't know if you could tell by my face that I was a little worried, but once we got started, that has to be my favorite. The amount of stuff that you can do and organize in a shop is amazing, and you don't even have to be somebody that knows how to design stuff. I just go onto MakerWorld, do a search for shop tools, download it, and use it. It's that easy. Having a 3D printer is a really nice shop companion. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in more videos like this, let me know. If you have a favorite print that you'd like to share, go ahead and leave a note down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.